All right, guys, new comic book days coming up. So it's time to take a look at all the comics coming out Wednesday, April 7th, and tell you what I'm getting. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. So if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. Now, this is my first What I'm Getting video in 2 weeks, since the birth of my brand new baby girl. And so I went MIA last week, but we're back. We're back. So this show, like I said, is called What I'm Getting. And what I do is I go through all the solicitations. I go through the list of comics coming out in a given week. And I tell you which of those I'm picking up, which covers, what the price is. And we see if I can stick to the budget. Now, there are some books that find their way to the chopping block and others that end up on the maybe list, meaning if I hear good things after it comes out, then I might pick it up on release day. So with all that said, if you're interested in comic book content, reviews, unboxings, haul videos, and stuff like that, you should definitely hit the subscribe button. We're about to get started on a whole lot of reviews. So this is what I'm getting. Spoiler alert. There are no books on the chopping block this week. And the reason for that, I'm not at home. I come home to record videos, but I'm not living at home right now. While my daughter's in the hospital, we are living elsewhere. And my entire single issue comic collection is at home. So what I've been doing is I've been taking trade paperbacks and hardcovers and stuff. I take those to the hospital and I read those. But transporting single issues in a backpack is just asking for spine ticks and other damages that I'm just not comfortable with. So if I hadn't been reading the series, if I wasn't current before my daughter was born, chances are I'm not going to get current now. Until my iPad comes in the mail, I can go get digital. So anyway, that was a very long-winded way of saying there's nothing on the chopping block, and I'm not always up to date on my single issues, so there's going to be a recurring theme, so I figured I'd get it out of the way now. Now that that's done, let's talk about what I'm picking up this week, and I always love to start with the book that I am most excited for in a given week. This week, that is Far Sector number 11. Far Sector from DC Comics, the Young Animal imprint, written by N.K. Jemisin, artwork by Jamal Campbell. Guys, I've been loving this series. I mean, we're on issue 11 out of 12, and I've loved it so far. You guys know I'm not a big sci-fi person, so it took me a minute to get into this series, but once it got rolling, it really got rolling. So we're following Lantern Jo Mullein. She's the newest member of the Green Lantern Corps from Earth. She is sent to a ridiculously far planet, that's why they call it a Far Sector, where she's investigating their first murder in like hundreds of years. Like no one on the planet remembers the last murder. That's how long it's been since a murder happened. And along the way, she's uncovering government conspiracies, drugs, the black market, social and class type warfare, and prejudices. There's a lot in this series, and honestly, it's just been magnificently done. I will say, I can't wait for this to be collected and trade. I think it's going to read better as one big story. But we've reached the penultimate issue, issue 11, the second to last issue, and it's been great so far, and I'm excited to see how this series wraps up. My only complaint in DC Comics is this book started like mad long ago. You guys could have released a book every month, but instead it's been like every other month, so it's been dragging. It's been dragging a little bit, but the story never drags. The story is good, so there's that. That's the book I'm most excited for. I'm just going to get that Jamal Campbell cover A, mainly because I didn't have time to look into what variants are coming out this week, but also because I love Jamal Campbell, and that's got a cover price of $3.99. Now, next up, since we're talking about DC Comics, we'll go ahead and keep it in the house, and let's, the next book on my list, stuttering over my words, stammering. Anyway, next up is Batman issue 107. Now, Batman, Bruce Wayne, has been stripped down. He's not as rich. He's not, he doesn't have as much access to like really cool technology and stuff. And we're starting to see the seeds of what led to everything that happened in Future State with the Magistrate and all that stuff. But Bruce Wayne and the Clown Hunter not Clown Hunter, Ghostmaker are roommates. We're starting to see like how exactly Bruce is faring in this new Gotham. So I'm excited to see how that goes in issue 107 of Batman. Of course, written by James Tynion IV, with art by Jorge Jimenez. Love it. It always is a great looking book, if nothing else. So that's got a cover price of $4.99. Good Lord, DC Comics, what are you doing to us? But it's got a cover price of $4.99, and I'm just getting cover A on that. Next up is a book I'm actually really excited for. This is Green Lantern #1. This is going to be written by Jeffrey Thorne. I believe the artwork is by Dexter Soy on this issue. I should have looked it up before I started filming, but I don't know. But this is a brand new start for the Green Lanterns. All I know about this story is that, according to the writer, his arc or his run on Green Lantern is going to focus more on John Stewart. There are going to be some secondary characters included, like on this cover, we've got Teen Lantern there. I know that at some point Joe Mullen's going to make an appearance. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see how this goes. Me being someone who does not read Green Lantern regularly, I'm a little worried because from what I can tell, Jeff Thorne is going to be bringing a lot of like Silver Age DC lore. Like this is going to be a Green Lantern run for fans of the Green Lantern Corps. But hopefully it's just as acceptable or accessible to new readers like me. But I'm excited about that cover A. I also am going to get the cover B, specifically because Jeff Thorne says he felt like that should have been the A cover. So it's got a cover price of $4.99, and that's what I'm getting. Now, last up from DC Comics, you know it's not a DC Comics week unless you buy 3 Batman books. So this time we got the next Batman, Second Son, #1. Now, I actually read the first half of this issue digitally. It's been out on Comixology for a little while. They made this John Ridley series a digital first. And basically, we're starting to get backstory. You remember when I was doing the reviews of the next Batman during Future State, I was kind of annoyed that we weren't getting more background on this Fox family drama and why the family is upset at Tim or Jace and all that. Well, this series is supposed to be exploring all of that, while also kind of giving you a Batman Year One type experience for Tim Fox and seeing exactly how he, became the next Batman. So I'm excited to see how the series goes, and I'm definitely excited to have it in print. So the next Batman, Second Son, is written by John Ridley, and I wish I remembered the artist. Again, I should have looked this up, but I have a limited time to shoot these videos, so there you go. I'm getting cover A, and it's got a cover price of $4.99. There is a cover B by Ken Lashley, and I'm probably going to grab that one in the shop as well. So don't say I didn't tell you it was coming. So now that we've got all the DC comics out of the way, if I just stick to the list and get what I said I was going to get, and if I only got one cover for each book, my DC comics would cost me $19 this week. So there you go. I should probably just add $8 to that. And what's that? 9 and 8, $27 for my DC comics. Now, let's move on to Marvel. First up from Marvel Comics is Amazing Spider-Man issue 63. I feel like I missed issue 62. Maybe I didn't. I guess that was the first new costume. I don't know. I guess I picked up issue 62 and forgot about it. But anyway, ASM 63, Spider-Man's got a new suit. He's got a new job. There's new things happening. Honestly, I've not been reading this Nick Spencer Spider-Man run. I had every intention to, and then I had a baby. So, hey, cut me some slack. But this is one of those books that because I haven't read it to say I don't like it or I do, it's just going to stay on the pull list until I can confirm it needs to not be there. So there you go. I'm getting that cover A. I know that wasn't a resounding endorsement of the run or anything. Honestly, I had not been enjoying Nick Spencer's run. And my whole thought process was to give it a new start, new try. As of issue 61, where he got the new suit. So I got to read these 3 issues and decide if it's going to end up on my pull list still. So Amazing Spider-Man number 63. It's got a cover price of $4.99. What? All right. Well, $4.99 it is. And I'm just getting the cover A. Next up from Marvel Comics is a book that I actually am excited about, and that is Marauders number 19. You guys know I have a trifecta of X-Men books. I got X-Men, X-Force, and Marauders. Those are my three that I love. I also pick up Wolverine. I know Cable's ending soon. I pick up other X titles, but those are the three that I'm most excited for whenever I see them at the comic shop in my to-read pile. And so Marauders is still picking up. It's still been really, really good after Ten of Swords. I actually took a peek at a couple issues back, but I got to read Ten of Swords before I really dive in deeper. But yeah, that's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm just getting cover A on that one. Next up on my Marvel pull list is Star Wars High Republic number 4. This is my first Star Wars book, and I've not read it. I've not read it at all. I finally got I got issue 1 in a Walmart pack a little while back, but all my single issues are at my house and not where we're staying. So I guess I'll take a minute to decide which books I'm going to bring with me and try to read them or something. Maybe I'll get a short box and do it that way. But anyway, High Republic number 4, I'm going to follow this series at least until issue 6, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to keep it on my pull list. But for now, it's right there. I'm getting cover A, and it's got a cover price of $3.99. And last up on my Marvel pull list is another book that I'm not up to date on. Surprise, surprise. But that is Venom, issue 34. Now, I finally picked up the oversized hardcovers for Donny Cates' Venom run. So the first hardcover collects issues 1 through 12. The second collects issues 15 through 25, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, I'm 9 issues in. I read 6 issues in one sitting. I read another 3 in another sitting. Like, that series, I've really been enjoying the beginning of it. So I'm definitely going to follow through until the end, because I know Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman are coming off at issue 35. But hopefully it finishes just as strongly as it starts, because I've really been enjoying it. And I'm someone who had never read a Venom book prior to this run. So I don't know if that's as much of an endorsement as you would like, but I love the older stuff, and it's only 35 issues to catch up on, so hopefully it stays good and stays consistent throughout. From what I've heard, it absolutely does. So Venom, issue 34, I'm just getting the cover A, and it's got a cover price of $3.99. And that's my Marvel Comics pull list. So if I just stick to the list, I only get cover A's, which is a little bit easier for me to do when it's a Marvel comic. Then it's only going to cost me $17. Not mad at that at all. Now, let's talk about the indie comics that I'm picking up this week. First up, we got Eniac number 2. Now, if you guys are in the K Squad, then you know that I've been kind of reading through a bunch of indie titles, because I can carry a few books at a time, and the indies tend to not have a million books I need to catch up on. But anyway, Eniac number 1 is a book that I did read about a week ago, and I enjoyed it. I don't know that it was worth all of the hype that surrounded its release and how rare it ended up being and all of that, but it was a good spy story. It was like some historical fiction added in, and it's good enough for me to want to read issue 2. And even if I didn't want to read issue 2, I had to buy all 4 issues in advance just to get a copy of number 1. So hopefully the story stays good. Written by Matt Kent, and I think the art is by Doug Braithwaite. I enjoyed issue 1, so hopefully issue 2 is just as good. That's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting the cover A. There's not a cover B. You're either going to get the first print or the not first print. And lucky for me, I'm getting first prints on all these. So Eniac number 2, that's on the list. Next up is Firepower number 10. Firepower by Robert Kirkman. I need to get caught up on this series. The last issue I read was number 7, and I really, really liked it. I just like how all these different elements from Owen's past are coming to catch up to him, and you don't know who you can trust and who you can't. Like, there's a lot going on. The action is high. The kids are fighting. Like, there's a lot that I loved about the series up until the point where I stopped reading. So I just need to get caught up. So Firepower number 10. I love that Firepower only has cover A's every single time until issue 12, that is. But it's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Next up on the list, my indie books, is Nocterra number 2. written by Scott Snyder, with artwork by Tony S. Daniel. I ended up picking a few copies up of issue number 1. I bought 1,000,000 copies and still only never read it. So I haven't read issue 1. I've heard really good things about it. I don't know why I keep clapping, but I heard really good things about issue 1 in this series. And so I should go ahead and pick it up. I'm going to keep, again, I'm not dropping any titles until I can read and confirm that I don't like them. So congrats to you, Scott Snyder. You stayed on the list. But Nocterra is about, I don't know, this eternal darkness that falls over this town, and people are turning into creatures. And I heard it was really good. That's all I can say. So if you're interested, pick it up. One series that I am still up to date on, 7 Secrets, number 7. That comes out this week. I'm getting the cover A, but dude, Tom Taylor is probably my favorite writer right now. Tom Taylor does action well. Tom Taylor does single issue storytelling well, even as it builds to a new arc or builds over an arc over multiple issues. It's just like Tom Taylor makes you care about characters, and you care about the characters because of the way they care about each other. He does action well, he does family well, and the artwork in this series, I believe her name is Danielle Dinaculo. I love it. I love it too. So listen, you can't go wrong with 7 Secrets. It's probably my favorite indie title coming out consistently. So that's about as high praise as I'm going to give a book in this week's review. So 7 Secrets, number 7. Pick it up. I'm getting the cover A, and that's got a cover price of $3.99. And you know, it would not be an indie week without me mentioning The Walking Dead Deluxe, the series that I've still not read a single issue of, but I'm collecting it because it's in color for the first time, and David Finch is doing those covers. And I mean, can't go wrong with David Finch covers. But yeah, so The Walking Dead Deluxe, it's got a cover price of $3.99. Hey, I'm going to get it. And I'm going to keep getting it as long as David Finch is doing covers. So there you go. So Robert Kirkman got a couple books on the list this week. And my indie books, if I just stick to the list, get only cover A's, are going to cost me $20. So with all that said, my pull list, you guys know I try to keep my budget to about $50 a week, because sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, almost all the time, I end up buying random stuff. I'll buy a trade, I'll buy a hardcover, I'll buy some random variant that, you know, Dan sold me at Ultimate Comics Raleigh. But anyway, so I try to keep my pull list to 50. This week, my subtotal is $56. Not bad. That's not bad. And with my box discount and taxes and all that, I'm going to spend a whopping and astounding $54.05. That's not bad at all. That's not bad. I can't be mad at that. So what I want to know from you guys is what's on your pull list this week. What are the books that you're most excited about? What are the books that maybe I have on my list that you hadn't heard of or hadn't considered buying? I want to know. Let me know in the comments of this video, or we can talk comics a lot more in depth in my private Facebook group. It's called the K Squad. Just go to bjkicks.link/K Squad and tell me who your favorite comic book character is, and I'll let you in the group. But we talk about comics. We have the K Squad book club coming up. So right now in the book club, shout out to Seth for starting it up. But we are reading Batman: The Long Halloween, and we're going to discuss it on April 16th. So if you want to get in on that discussion, if you want to be eligible for giveaway prizes and all sorts of really, really cool stuff, you need to join the K Squad on Facebook. Hit the link in the description. And other than that, I hope you saw something in this video that you liked. And if not, hey, that's cool, because you can always buy what you like. Make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.